I'm making an indie stealth game inspired by all of my favorite franchises like Assassin's Creed, Dishonored, Hitman, and Metal Gear Solid. Our game is meant to be an homage and a spiritual successor to these legendary installments and aims to capture that assassin fantasy that I will never shut the fuck up about. To me, a big part of that fantasy and why I like it was a little bit more brain dead that I should feel comfortable admitting to on the internet. I always usually gush about the fascinating philosophy that comes with playing as such a morally compromised character, the introspection that comes with being given such unchecked and unremovable power, and the satisfaction with which you leave the game that respected you and invited you to understand its systems. But in truth, there is also another reason I love these characters in games, and it's that they're really fucking cool. Aura farming basically refers to the act of intentionally performing actions, often in public or online, to project a specific cool aura or vibe. It's what I think all of these protagonists do so well, like Ezio or Agent 47, and I want Silas to also be a bit of an aura farmer. This is a definition that we live and breathe by when developing our small budget indie game, and it's led us to prioritize questionable gameplay elements when building out our core loop for the game. Throughout the development process, the team and I have stumbled upon moments where we added something in the game for the sole reason that it's really fucking cool. No mechanical depth, no gameplay advantage, just pure edgelord cool boy aura. So today I want to quickly run through the 4 of many stupid, budget-consuming, useless things we've added to our game just because. Number 1. When Silas is hanging from a building, if you wait long enough, he'll switch from this normal climbing pose to this cool idle pose, which switches depending on which direction the camera is facing. Internally, we call it the Batman pose, even though it does look more like Spider-Man, as our animator rightly pointed out, but Batman is infinitely cooler, so it's the Batman pose. Even though it serves no real gameplay purpose, I like to have it to further imagine Silas scanning the ground level of an area he's infiltrating, always gathering information, even when he's resting. It's just something that adds to his aura and to his character a lot more, and if you want to learn a little bit about his character and the lore of other characters in the game, make sure to sign up to our newsletter to learn more about the lore. Number 2 and number 3 have to do with combat. Now, ironically, combat is the mechanic that you will least interact with in the game, and it has 2 aura farming features that are beautifully useless in all the right ways. The first is a small one, which is that one of our finisher animations, when you get guards to critical health level, sees Silas stab the guard and then flick his sword after stabbing him to flick the blood off the gear blade, while the target is just busy dying in the background. In my opinion, it's just exquisitely cool, and I hope that you guys think so too. And that's a small one, but number 3 I love beyond all reason. In our combat system, which is admittedly pretty simple, if you look at the gamepad controls, you can parry incoming attacks with the B button, you can dodge or roll with the A button, and you can attack with the X button, which begs the question, what is the Y button for? Well, our programmer had the genius idea of giving you a button that lets you simply twirl your sword around like a badass. This isn't a taunt or a charge up. There's literally no mechanical effect on the gameplay whatsoever by doing this. It just looks really cool to do and makes each duel slightly more cinematic in my very humble opinion, so we just thought to keep it as a fun little interaction you can do while you're planning your spacing between the guards and planning when to attack or defend. Although we're sure to add more, and feel free to comment below if you have any ideas. Number 4 is interesting because I think paying attention to small details that not everyone will notice is how you make a game feel loved. It's something that happens in the background, and for the few people that do notice it, it's something that feels like a connection between the devs and the player, where you both acknowledge the small awesome detail and the effort that went into it, and you acknowledge it across space and time. We make things now and plant details now that ideally within a year or 2 you'll be discovering and experiencing for the first time. We're trying to include these small details in our game all throughout, and one of them that is rather pronounced and is easier to spot is the fact that we've made the decision to make Silas ambidextrous. I grew up in Spain, where the greatest tennis player of all time grew up, and it was a well-known fact that he was trained with his left hand despite being right-handed in order to gain a competitive advantage when playing tennis. I've always thought that this was such a cool idea that could inform how the Noctari, the order of assassins that Silas belonged to, are trained to be competent with both of their hands. And I like this being reflected in Silas, where depending on where you do a cover kill from, for example, he will use one hand or another to stab. And similarly, when you aim his gun, he uses his left hand to aim, but when you do a quick fire body shot, he uses his right hand. It's not a really big detail, but it's one that I think is really cool and characterizes him even more. So that's the aura farming that I have for you today, but what else do you think that we should put in the game? Because I do think that even though it is funny to call it aura farming, it does increase the immersive factor of any game, and if it helps characterize the world or the character, it's often worth doing if it's not too time consuming or resource intensive. And if you're interested in seeing a video where we do design things with a bit more of a gameplay purpose, check out our video on how we're approaching combat.